Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Space Headlines. We do a quick recap every week of what's going on in space. And today we're going to be talking about the second week of April 2019. SpaceX announced that they were going to live stream the first commercial flight of the Falcon Heavy. And they also released some information about the launch. They're going to be using all Block 5 Falcons in the first stage. All three units are going to be Block 5, the latest, greatest version of Falcon. And they're going to be launching the satellite into a high-energy geostationary orbit. So it's not that the satellite is really heavy. That's not the reason that we're using the Falcon Heavy. It's the orbit and the energy to get up to that 22,000-mile altitude orbit that they're looking at. So that's the rationale for why it's going to be done. And the benefit to the satellite owner is it's going to add years of operational life to the satellite. We got great news about investment in space. 2018, we had the highest amount of investment in space ever. We had over $3 billion of investment in 2018, and it represented a 27% increase over the prior year, which was fantastic. One of the leading space consultancies, the Bryce Space and Technology Group, they've indicated that they foresee that 2019 is going to have even more investment than 2018. So we're making good progress there. The Falcon Heavy flight went perfectly. Not only did the satellite get into the designed orbit, the two side boosters landed simultaneously in Florida, just exactly like they were supposed to, and hundreds of miles at sea out in the Atlantic. The core landed perfectly on the drone ship as well. So straight A's for SpaceX on the Falcon Heavy flight. The Falcon Heavy is the most powerful rocket available worldwide right now. And sometimes people forget that it is also the most cost-effective rocket in the large rocket class that's available. Back in the days of the space shuttle, it cost roughly $10,000 a pound to get stuff into low Earth orbit. The Falcon Heavy costs about 1/10 as much. So it's not just the capacity to lift really big payloads, but to lift them affordably. And as we saw today, it seems like it's going to be a very reliable vehicle. So congratulations to SpaceX and Elon Musk. We saw the first flight of Stratolaunch. This is the world's largest airplane. It's basically two 747 fuselages, sort of in a catamaran kind of configuration. The plane had its first flight. It got up to 17,000 feet. Everything seemed to go fine. And the future, though, is a little bit in question. This plane was designed by the late Paul Allen. He was the creator of it. And they had talked about making their own suite of vehicles to use with the Stratolaunch plane. But recently they've been talking about using the Pegasus rocket, that the Stratolaunch could carry 1, 2, or 3 Pegasus at a time and launch them. The problem is the Pegasus costs an awful lot per pound to do launching. So it's unclear if this will be an economically viable system with such a high-priced rocket being used. We're seeing a lot of new vehicles coming online in the next couple of years. There's a half a dozen that are like on the books to be launched from Florida in 2020 and 2021. In 2020, we have 2 new vehicles. One is the Relativity Space Terran 1. That's supposed to launch in 2020. And the payload of that is about 2,800 pounds. In the super heavyweight class, we have the Space Launch System. It's hopefully going to launch by the end of 2020. And that can carry 209,000 pounds to low Earth orbit. Then in 2021, we have 4 new vehicles scheduled to launch. One is Firefly's Alpha. This is a 2,200 pound vehicle, and all these are in terms of LEO payloads. Northrop Grumman, they want to launch their Omega in 2021. That's a bigger rocket, 20,000 pounds to LEO. United Launch Alliance has been working for a while on the Vulcan. That's supposed to launch for the first time in 2021. Payload 77,000 pounds. And Blue Origin, their New Glenn, is supposed to have its first flight in 2021 as well. And the payload on that is targeted at 99,000 pounds to LEO. That's our news coverage for the second week of April 2019. Hope you enjoyed the show. Check back with us in a week, and we'll be talking about the third week of April. Take care.